So let's talk about patriotism in the slabs. When I was growing up, I said a pledge of allegiance to the flag, to the republic for which it stood. Back in those days, the sheriff was the highest authority in the land, defined by county. Federals could come in and the sheriff could just deputize people, raise a militia, and chase the feds out. Even city cops had to answer to the sheriff. We loved our sheriffs. They were local good old boys who just used the law to guide the young people. You know, everybody does something. Trying to find ourselves. So, I was 18, 19, working in a convenience store, going to college, had payments on a new car, and Desert Storm came up. Americans didn't want anything to do with war. All of a sudden, the propaganda started. Oh, born in the USA, USA kicks ass, yada yada. Wait for the car to go by. So anyways, all of a sudden, the American public was for war. I decided right then and there that they're just a bunch of foolish, brainwashed zombies, and I was going to have to mourn my classmates who I just graduated with after they went off to war and came back in body bags. So I disconnected from my hometown, fuck you all, went to Massachusetts, got married to a tree trimmer, and took to the woods. I came out, tried to do good with family, went to the annual pig roast. There we were to toast my Uncle Brian. Yep, Uncle Brian Furland of Somatex up there in Maine. What were we toasting, Uncle Brian? I just put all my competition out of business. How'd you do that, Uncle Brian? Well, my mother came up with a safety program that the law that they then made after the safety program was in place, all people who worked on conveyors, hoists, cranes, all that, had to go through the safety program that my Uncle Brian and my mother started. They couldn't afford to do that. So that's how Somatex reigned king on that manufacturing front up in Maine. I have another uncle, Ronald Zulek, Zooleck. He was in the Massachusetts state representative or legislature, whatever. I was zoned out. Don't give a fuck. I see how the government runs and works. Firsthand, sorry to say. So now, we come to today. When I went to jail, I saw everybody was a sheriff. The guard was bragging to the girl in the cell next door to impress her. I'm from Spain. I was excited. I went to Spain in 1988. The revolution was going on. That boy, he blinked. All right, he's Mexican. I said, well, what about, don't you have any native ancestors? You know, you want to identify with something. Identify with the land you want. The land you're on. The land you're calling Mexican, yours. What about your ancestors associated with this land? He got to thinking. So we've got a bunch of bubblegum machine, put your quarter in, memorize the right answers, and guess what? You get to be a sheriff too. Yay! So I'm not on American soil. Fuck y'all if you say so, if you think so, if you believe so. The Statue of Liberty is modeled after a goddess. Bring all your poor, your weak, your broken-minded, so we could put them into 3 categories. You can be a wage slave. You can be a religious slave, whether it's science, politics, you got your religion, or you could be a drug slave. So you're going to have the cartel, the mafia. My father, he went to the Albanian mafia. That's how he got his money to start his business. So you've got these 3 basic branches of slavery. And everybody has some combination of these branches. So now we've got this coming up the road through the slabs. This one got a camper from back there out of an Asian ladies' camp because they burnt Filthy Phil out. So Filthy Phil moved into her camp, and this dude, Pink, over here, red, white, and blue, paid Filthy Phil for a camper, which we know is, oh, look, I think the camper's still there, repainted. That camper was not paid for. Filthy Phil was paid off to take the blame. And nobody cares about Filthy Phil anyways. So that is how business is done in the slabs. That's how Mojo got all her camp situated. That's how Ponderosa got their camp situated. By little con acts like this. Oh, I bought it. I don't know where it came from. Oh my. So I got this shit coming at me from my camper. You know what this one's interest in my camper was? First time I met him. He asked me, you know what's going to happen? I said, no. What? He says, we're going to finish having all this really good conversation, then we're going to have good sex tonight. I laughed my ass off. He never got the good sex, and he's been trying to undermine me ever since. Oh, a chance to get my camper while I'm gone, while little monkey tweaker is running up and down my fence line. Then I got Mojo, Diana, and Tomahawk coming at the other angle, planting Tomahawk in my camp, fucking with the energy in it, messing it up, playing with it, and they took only the things that meant something to me. So that, my friends, is patriotism in the slabs. Nothing but fucking corruption, just like the American government, right at the top, from top to fucking bottom, right down to every fucking hole in this ground. That's patriotism for you. And that's what I've been here trying to live outside of. But see, they chase you down into every nook, every cranny in this system. So now we got a reset coming, and it's coming through the prison system, which was used for moving people, illegal immigrants, everything coming out of that system. Now there's my good mojo going on, coming up through, weaving itself in to the slabs. And that reset is a communist plot. Read the small print. You're declaring, you're signing over your eternal soul to a man who goes by a number because he's supposedly a descendant of King Solomon. And he has all the gold to fund the governments. And we have tourists from all over the world following these energies into the slabs, declaring itself, ooh, the head of the movement. No, I'm sorry, you're still monkeys in one of those 3 slave categories, if not all 3 together. Read some cult recovery books. Get over your religious trauma syndrome. Look it up. RTS, Religious Trauma Syndrome. And enjoy your part of the ride.